Without question, the 1960s was an amazing decade for development and innovation. They built the M1 motorway. Jaguar introduced arguably one of the most beautiful cars ever made in the E-Type Jaguar. Men flew into space for the first time, and pocket calculators were the size of rooms. Rolex, in the meantime, turned their attention to motor racing and introduced the Daytona, a watch complete with a tachymeter. But what is a tachymeter, and how do you use it? Today we're going to answer that question. Hello and welcome to Richard's Reviews. Today we're going to look at the Chronograph watch, specifically the tachymeter. And I hope by the end of this video that you'll understand how useful this can be, how to read it and interpret it. So what is a tachymeter? How do we interpret it? Where do the numbers come from? We all know that a watch is a device for measuring the passing of time. A chronograph is a specific watch which has built within it a stopwatch function. Understanding tachymeters. Before we start, there are two fundamental matters that we need to get absolutely clear. The first of these is that the tachymeter is a measuring tool. It's a tool a bit like using a ruler. A measuring tool, but this time we're measuring units per hour. I'm going to repeat that. It is a measuring tool for measuring units per hour. And we're going to come back to that later. But it is absolutely foundational to understand that's what the tachymeter is. And secondly, we need to undertake some basic maths to understand how it works and what the numbers on the tachymeter dial, which is the black bezel round the outside of the watch, actually represent. The period of 1 hour can be represented in different ways. We could represent 1 hour as just 1 hour. Or alternatively, we could say that 1 hour is equivalent to 60 minutes. And because 60 minutes is made up of seconds, we can also establish that 3,600 seconds is equivalent to 1 hour. In other words, if you take the number of 60 minutes and times it by the number of seconds per minute, 60, or 60 by 60, we're left with a number of 3,600. And this number of 3,600 is very important in understanding how to interpret the tachymeter and also where the numbers actually come from. So, the period of 1 hour can be represented by 3,600 seconds. Next, if we divide 3,600 by any number of seconds, for example, if we divided 3,600 by 15 seconds, the result of this would be 240. This is the number printed on the tachymeter at the 15-second point on the dial. So if we look at this number of 3,600 over different periods of time, we come up with a scale. I've shown this now on the screen. 3,600 divided by 9 seconds would be equivalent to 400. 3,600 divided by 30 seconds would be equivalent to 120. And 3,600 divided by 60 seconds would give us the number 60. If you look now at the photograph of the Pagani design watch, you will see that these numbers are printed adjacent to the number of seconds on the dial. And this is how the dial has been created. In other words, it is a relationship between 1 hour and a number of seconds. There are 400 units of 9 seconds in 1 hour, or there are 120 units of 30 seconds in 1 hour. And that makes sense of the dial numbers. So understanding tachymeters, we have to understand that a chronograph watch is a stopwatch. If you record on the stopwatch a car travelling for example 1 mile, and record that it takes exactly 45 seconds, we can look at the tachymeter at the 45-second point on the watch face and see adjacent the number 80. From that, we can establish that a car travelling 1 mile in 45 seconds is actually travelling at 80 miles an hour. If the same car was travelling 1 kilometre in 45 seconds, then we know that the car would be doing 80 kilometres per hour. In other words, the device is universal regardless of the measurement of distance. The same would apply to feet, meters, kilometres, miles, but it also applies to the number of units we might make. For example, if we record that a widget is made in 45 seconds, then we know in 1 hour it would be possible to make 80 widgets. So at the beginning of this video we asked a question: what is a tachymeter and how do you use it? Well, we should now know that a tachymeter is a tool for measuring, a bit like a ruler or a calculator. The tachymeter allows us to undertake a calculation worked out on units of time. So for example, if something takes 15 seconds, then we know that in an hour we can undertake that same 15 seconds 240 times. If a machine is making a widget in 15 seconds, then that machine can produce 240 widgets per hour. If it takes us 15 seconds to undertake 1 mile, then we know that we can do 240 miles in 1 hour. It always relates back to the period of units per hour, and that's important to understand. So the next time you're out and about and you have the opportunity, try using the tachymeter with the stopwatch function on your watch. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you found that useful.